I don't feel like I have a testimony to tell. When I told this to God, because I know this is a video He wanted me to do, He told me that I show that being perfect in this world will never be enough. I grew up in a household with 5 children, where we had to do chores and get the work done needed for the house, and I did it on time almost all the time, yet my siblings hated me. I grew up in a mostly Christian household, yet when I read the Bible and talked about it, and talked about what I had learned, I was hated for it. When I stood up for what I believed in, I was shunned. When I did the right things, I was judged. No matter what I did, it was never right. Little did I know that behind my back, people in my life were putting others down in my name. If you were skinny like Kitra, your parents would love you. If you did your chores on time like Kitra, then this wouldn't have happened. In my name, my family was told that they weren't good enough, and in turn didn't treat me like I was enough. They were children, though. It still hurt. When I was at school, I was told I wasn't enough by my peers. I was too annoying or too fast in becoming best friends. I wasn't worth having around or even listening to. It didn't matter that my grades were good. It didn't matter that I tried my hardest to be friends with them. I just wasn't worth having around. I would go home and dream, live in other worlds because it was easier to be accepted in my own head than it ever would be in this world. Of course, I didn't realize this until much later in life. But this is how I grew up for periods of time in my life, only taking breaks from living in my head when I was playing video games with my dad. I knew my dad was a Christian, and I knew I wanted to get to know him. He was fun to play World of Warcraft with, and he took time out of his day to play with me. We had 2 computers set up in the same room, so we just quest together. But I wanted to talk to him more often. He eventually got into this game called D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, which I tried to enjoy but I honestly disliked. I just didn't like waiting my turn. So I devised a plan. Because he talked about the Bible all the time, I would just simply start reading the Bible too, and any time I had a question, I would simply go and ask him. What does this word mean? What is that? Why did he say that? What's this disciple's name? Any and every question I have about heaven or hell, end of times, anything, he always had an answer for. To be frank, it worked, but also changed me. The more I read, the more things made sense. I was mostly reading Proverbs and Psalms, but I would try out things to honor God and also to see if it rang true. The first time I saw the Bible work was when I apologized to a varying routine about something my friend had done. He was ready to fight, but I didn't raise my voice or get mad back, and it worked. A gentle response quieted anger. I grew more and more intrigued by the Bible, which makes me sound better than I was. I read it to make my dad and God proud. I listened to sermons for the same. I just wanted their approval. It was the right thing to do, and it also made me feel good, so I didn't see the harm in it. One day, my parents divorced, and it broke me. I sobbed for 3 days straight, and I begged God to bring them back together again. I wanted my family to be back to where it was, healthy and good, but God knew better. He was who we would live with. It eventually just fell apart. During this time, I not only learned who my true family was, but also gained a lifelong best friend, my sister, Malia, who I also refer to as Pumpkinhead on this channel. She no longer hated me, but grew into a kind, compassionate person. When there was pain, she held people in love. Over the years, I've been blessed enough to be able to see her become a Christian who's on fire and passionate about God, and it has been beautiful. During that time, I also got to know my dad, who was kind, compassionate, and patient with everyone, quick to adopt anyone who needed a friend, a dad, or a home. During this time, long, long before I realized the love my family had for me, was the love my Heavenly Father had for me. There was a moment when I was praying to God, when it was the first time I had bowed down before Him, that He had me look out a window. I assumed it was some sort of trick to get me out of praying before God, but whenever I did look out the window, He said, "Petra, what do you see?" I replied hesitantly, "I see birds and bees and flowers." And God said, "If I take care of these, will I surely not take care of you?" He helped me to see that He looked at the world and knew it would only be good if I existed. Otherwise it wouldn't be good, it wouldn't be perfect, it wouldn't be right. He saw me and knew everything about the amount of hair on my head, to the amount of tears I would cry, and what I would want to cry about, and what I would cry about, and he said, I want her. This world, this universe is not good enough without her in it. I was finally enough.